Welcome back to the deep dive. Honestly, what a whirlwind week it's been across the globe. We've spent time wading through, well, frankly, a mountain of news reports, summit notes, our own research, to try and pull out those really crucial bits of insight, maybe a few surprises too. Basically, giving you a shortcut to being, properly informed on a really packed few days.
Mm.
Okay, let's unpack this.
It's fascinating, isn't it, how things that seem completely separate on the surface, they actually weave together. You've got geopolitical tensions here, cultural events there, these deeply human stories, and understanding these different threads, well, it really helps you get a feel for the global pulse right now. Let's dig in.
Absolutely. And I think top of the list has to be the escalating situation in the Middle East.
Hmm.
We saw those Israeli airstrikes hitting several Iranian regions. Tehran, Isfahan, Tabriz were mentioned targeting missile sites specifically, wasn't it?
That's right. And then almost inevitably, Iran retaliated.
Yeah.
Missile and drone strikes aimed at Tel Aviv and Haifa. It's a really significant, concerning development.
Definitely. And what's the immediate sort of ripple effect beyond just, the markets getting jumpy?
Well, you're right. Oil did spike initially, but then it pulled back fairly quickly.
Mm.
It suggests investors are maybe pricing in de-escalation strategies more than expecting a full-blown regional conflict this time, which is a subtle shift.
Yeah.
But that caution, it still points to worries about global supply chain stability.
And it definitely pushed leaders towards diplomacy, didn't it?
Exactly, which leads us straight to the G7.
Right. The G7 summit in Kananaskis, Canada, just wrapped up. World leaders were there, Donald Trump included. Big focus on de-escalation in the Middle East, obviously, but also economic stuff, like the UK joining that CPTPP trade agreement.
Yeah, the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership. That signals a strengthening of trade ties beyond the usual blocks. And security issues, of course.
And that momentum carries over, right,
Yeah.
to the NATO summit.
Precisely. That's coming up soon, June 24th, 25th in The Hague. It'll be the first summit with Mark Rutte as Secretary General. Expect a heavy focus on deterrence, adapting NATO strategy, bolstering the eastern flank, and defense spending, naturally, plus ongoing support for Ukraine. That remains absolutely central.
Okay, so while all that global diplomacy is happening, there were some pretty powerful shifts, closer to home, too, starting with the U.S. Army's 250th anniversary parade in D.C., a big celebration, oldest Army birthday.
Celebrating veterans. But sadly, it ended on a somber note. There was a report of a pedestrian fatality afterwards.
Yeah, tragic detail. And also, ongoing in the U.S. are the protests in Los Angeles since early June.
That's right, triggered by ICE raids, immigration, and customs enforcement. These protests have been quite intense. Some violence reported, unfortunately, leading to, well, a massive federal response. Over 4,000 National Guard and Marines deployed.
Wow, 4,000. That's huge.
It is. And the cost is staggering. $234 million cited,
Right.
over 575 arrests, dozens injured, including journalists. It really highlights the intense friction around immigration policy right now. We're just reporting the facts here, of course.
Of course. Now, shifting focus again globally, some truly tragic incidents impacting people directly. That Air India Boeing 787 crash in Ahmedabad on June 12th, just awful. Around 241 fatalities, I read.
Yeah.
And just one survivor.
Yes, that's correct. And it's actually the first deadly incident involving a 787, a very stark reminder of the human cost behind the headlines.
And just days before that, another tragedy in Europe.
Yes, the school shooting in Graz, Austria on June 10th. At least 10 killed, 12 injured. These events, even far apart geographically, they just hit hard, don't they? The immediate human cost is just devastating.
Absolutely. Okay, on a slightly different note, but still globally significant, sports. The FIFA Club World Cup kicked off June 14th, runs for a month across 12 U.S. cities. Big teams involve PSG, Man City, Chelsea. Stars like Messi playing. Huge prize pool, too, nearly $100 million.
Yeah, it's a massive event. And beyond the sport itself, think about the economic impact on those host cities. Plus, what this expanded format says about soccer's growing popularity in America. It's quite a cultural moment, too.
True. And elsewhere, on the international cooperation front.
Well, the UN Ocean Conference just finished up in Nice. Interestingly, it wasn't just about, fish and coral reefs. They focused on sustainable development goals, too, like child protection through birth registration efforts.
Birth registration at an ocean conference.
Yeah, it seems like an odd link, but it highlights how interconnected these global development goals are. Alongside the expected topics, like sustainable aquatic foods and climate resilience for coastal areas.
Interesting connection. And any quick notes on international business?
Just briefly, we saw Chihuahua's delegation making a push at the Paris Air Show, showcasing their aerospace sector, looking for global partnerships. It's that kind of regional specialization drive we see more of.
Right. And finally, some key election results to note.
Yes, two significant ones. Karol Nawrocki elected president in Poland on June 1st. That could signal shifts in their foreign policy approach. And Lee Jae-myung won the presidency in South Korea on June 3rd, again, potentially changing dynamics in that region.
Okay, wow.
So, yeah, when you pull it all together, it's just been an incredibly rapid and diverse week, hasn't it? Geopolitical flashpoints, domestic unrest, these terrible tragedies, major cultural events. It's a lot.
It really is. And that's kind of the point of this deep dive, right? To help make sense of it quickly, but still deeply. So I guess the question is, what does this all actually mean for you, listening right now?
Well, here's something to think about. How might all these seemingly separate events, the diplomacy, the economic shifts, the protests, the accidents, even the sports, how might they subtly influence the currents in the next few months? Not just impacting big global policy, but maybe